So this is my Porsche 911 Carrera 2S 3.8 litre, and for those in the know, 997.1, that I bought as a category N, damaged, repairable, from a salvage auction. I repaired it, I MOT'd it, and I was happily using it until catastrophe. The engine did one. Last video we saw the engine tear down, we saw the state of the cylinders, smashed cylinder walls, smashed cylinder head, damaged crank. Yeah, I had a plan to repair it. As you're about to find out, that plan went horribly wrong. The engineering companies come and collected, well, they've sent their courier to come and collect the crankshaft, but in the meantime I can get on with doing something with the cylinder heads. Now, because these are steel manifold bolts going into aluminium, this is why they broke off. They're like the Audi death bolts. They get in there, that's it, they're stuck solid. So I've had to resort to some high temperatures with MAP gas to get a couple of them out. A couple of them out come out like that. Some mold grips back and forth, they come out fine. But I've also had to use drill, and I've also had to resort on some of them to some carbide grinding bits in a Dremel. I did also use I've got a Stromsky racing tool, which normally goes in a jig, but if you get it and it fits over the studs, you can draw down the centre. So that's what I did to get these out. And I literally took a week to get all of the broken studs out of this head. They all broke but one, so that was like 7 studs I had to get out. And of course, the file kit, I can fix them threads that are damaged once I've got some of them bolts out. I gave the head a good clean before lapping the valves in, and then building them up with the springs, the collies, ready for the camshafts to go in. Right, now to the bad news with the crankshafts. They went off. I didn't hear anything for a couple of weeks, so I gave them a call. How's the crankshaft doing? And the reply I got was it never arrived. So at that point, it was then some emails, phone calls, what's happening, with the courier company, etc. Until they eventually stopped actually talking to me, responding to me, wouldn't take my calls. So I ended up having to go to small claims court. Which is fairly easy, to be honest, to do that. And the reason I was able to do that is, let me refer you to what I said earlier. The engineering companies come and collected, well, they've sent their courier to come and collect the crankshaft. Because they sent their own courier to collect the crankshaft, that means that they were liable from the moment that was collected. They were liable for that crankshaft. So yeah, they eventually had to pay me out, and I ordered a new crankshaft from Porsche. I sent pictures of the broken cylinder off to Hartech. They responded with the following email. I will reveal the price at the end of the video along with everything else. And they did the cases for me. Just because they were doing the cases, I think it took something like a 6 to 8 week turnaround on those. Yeah, so I've got the cases, which are oversized cylinders, nice new Hartech oversized pistons, pre-gapped, ready to go into each cylinder, so they're numbered for each one. And also their performance bearings as well. The con rods are going to get bolted together with ARP bolts, so they're not going to stretch again or break again. Okay, so you see them holes in the bottom of the cylinders. There's these new nice shiny cylinders. Now that is for attaching the piston to the con rods. So you don't put the whole con rod and the piston down through the cylinders and then bolt them up on the crank. On the one bank, you can on one bank. On the other bank, when your case offs to get together, what you have to do is you've already got your con rods attached, and you have to put the piston through the top of the cylinder. You use a white tool, go through the hole through the side of the engine, through the cylinders, and push your wrist pin in through the piston and through the con rod so they're attached. Now, to stop that coming out, you obviously need your circlip. So the other tool, circlip goes into that. That goes all the way through again, through these holes, into the piston, and then you give the end a sharp tap, which pushes that little black bit at the end into the piston, pushes the clip in, and the clip locks in place. As long as it's lined up, you've got to make sure you've got it, your marks, you've got it lined up when it goes in, and once, you know, before you move on to the next one, get a boroscope or something and get down there, and you know, just so you can see that that clip is seated good. It's got to be seated good. In order to do this, one thing we've got to now remember is these caps. They're all unique to each specific location. The other bearings are here in the actual cam cover. The thing is, if you get another head, then it's got a number on somewhere. There we go. There's a number there, and that number has to match the number that is just there. It does have to match, otherwise it's not going to fit properly. Because basically, when they machine these, they put them together and then they bore straight through the bearings, so it's matched. Okay, when I bolt this cylinder head to the engine, you time it up by setting the cams so the slots level. The bottom of the slot is level with the top of the cylinder head where the cam cover goes on. You've got your vernier pulley in a specific place, and you've got your pin holding the engine at the top dead centre for that bank. Then tighten the tool up in there to hold it. Then you can tighten up your vernier and the exhaust cam as well. So the inlet and the exhaust cam can be tightened up, and then your engine is timed. Then you do the same with the other bank, set that to top dead centre, and do the same thing. So these are the manifolds that have come off. We've a fair bit of grinding of the bolts, as you can see from, yeah, you can see where the carbide drill bit's been on there to grind the bolts out. Anyway, we're a bit rusty, a bit worse for wear. Not really good, the standard ones for the promotion of gas flow, are they? Of the exhaust gases. And we can see it's had, because of all this rust, it's had plates welded on in the past. So yeah, given that and the fact that we need to make sure that we've got no debris in any of them that can get back into the engine, yeah, that's why I've replaced them with some nice shiny stainless steel equal length ones. So I picked up these nice shiny stainless steel manifolds from a place in Birmingham. I need to replace these because, as I said, we've got to make sure there's no debris in there, apart from the other ones being a bit crap. Yeah, we've got no debris that can work its way back into the engine. I've had to do the same with the inlet manifolds as well. I spent a good day cleaning them out, and that's all I did, spend them on, just cleaning out the manifold, the airbox, everything. So I'm absolutely sure there was no debris anywhere to be seen in either of the inlet or the exhaust manifolds. Also replacing all the manifold bolts with titanium, so they're not going to rust and seize in there anymore, hopefully. Right, I'm filled with cheap oil, which Hartech recommend for the running-in period of 3,000 miles. I'm getting the coolant in. I've got this vacuum pump on which sucks all the air out. You can see down there that the coolant hoses have collapsed due to the vacuum. And I flip the switch and fill it up with the coolant from the hoses going into my coolant drum. So it's working good. So yeah, works really well. The instructions sheet that came with, we got back from Hartech. It did say to run it through the rev range and drive spiritedly. So yeah, I'm going to have to drive spiritedly. Yeah, so it's beautiful. Oil pressure's good. Just need to get 3,000 miles under it, and then I can switch to the good oil. What did all this cost? Start sundries, so gaskets, seals, bolts, squirters, mains, bearings, etc. That will come to about 420. We've got the other things you should replace, such as your AOS, your water pump, etc. That lot came to about 340. And we've got things like oil filters, plugs. That lot came to 74, 75 quid. IMS, new IMS bearing. Just a standard fag bearing with the seal taken out on the outer side as Hartech recommend, only £8.28. That's just something that I replace regularly, if the engine's out, if for any kind of reason, if the gearbox is out for any kind of reason, I would replace the IMS. That's what I do, although I may go with something like the IMS solution, which is the plain bearing. I might look at doing that in the future. And we've got the new chains, the new guides, etc. Come to about 320. And the other thing that I did, given that the con rods may have been, or the con rod bolts might have been a problem, is I've bought and fitting a set of ARP rod bolts. That should solve any issues with them. There's the work I had done to the cylinder head, which was just the valves put in and a skin, and cutting the valve seat. That comes to 60 quid. And I also fitted those stainless manifolds, equal length manifolds. Got an absolute bargain on them for a brand new set, 160 quid. And of course, then there's the big one. There's all the work that Hartech did with putting in the sleeves, machining the block, and providing the low temp thermostat, and of course the what else did they do? Yes, their performance big end bearings as well. That was £6,828 for what they've done. Absolute bargain, to be honest, because we've got an increase in size as well. And of course, the last thing was the crankshaft. Now, given the crankshaft didn't cost me anything at the end of the day, it would have been, well, that's how much it did cost from Porsche. Obviously, I didn't pay that because the engineering company had to pay me out for that. So I need to deduct that from the entire amount, which was not too bad, to be honest, considering I now have got a good engine, an increase in size, performance, should be a lot more reliable. So yeah, we've now got a total of £8,409. So that's it, £8,409. Car's back on the road. I know it's got a good solid engine in it. I'm still running it in when it hit 3,000 miles. I'm going to put the recommended oil in, which is a Miller's from Hartech recommend. And as I say, after that, I may go with the IMS solution, which I've since discovered. There was a few comments in the last video saying I'm crazy for doing this on my driveway, stick it on a flatbed, send it to a specialist, break the car. I've enjoyed working on it, and I'm not going to stop doing this. People sound crazy. Well, wait till you see my next project car. I've already got it. I'm going to start doing a video on that when the weather gets a bit better, hopefully soon. But until then, take care.